Hi, I'm Mike Ryan. This is part 3 of our series on the famous turquoise mines of America. Today we're going to talk about blue gem. Now, blue gem has been a very common name for turquoise mines, and in Nevada, the first blue gem mine that I'm aware of was located in 1918 and what has become known as the Easter Blue turquoise mine. And that was really closely associated with Lee Hand. But the turquoise that we know of as blue gem really came from an area called Copper Basin outside of Battle Mountain. And that was on private land that was owned by the mining company that was operating in Copper Basin. And the turquoise that was taken out of there was under lease. And the first lease in that area was around 1937 by the American Gem Company, which was founded by Doc Wilson. And from 1937 to 1941, his sons, Del and Bill, were very active in taking a lot of turquoise out of there. During the war, very little mining activity for obvious reasons, as the turquoise miners were occupied with the war effort, either in direct service or mining for the essential minerals. And then after the war, it was Lee Hand and Alvin Layton who were active mining the blue gem. And we have an excellent history about that in the book, including the actual ledgers that Florence Layton kept. So we know exactly who they were selling to, how much. Fascinating information. And that was from about 1946 to 1954 when they sold the lease to two of the King brothers. And they had that from till about, not long, maybe a couple of years. And then from about 1960 to 1973, it was mined by the Elquist family that had the lease with the mining company. And about 1973, most of the turquoise had played out. So we really haven't had any mining of blue gem since that time. In the book, I call it blue gem lease to differentiate it from any other blue gem claims that might exist, but it's popularly known as blue gem. So why don't we take a look at some blue gem turquoise? In this tray of turquoise, we're seeing a wide range of looks for blue gem. And it's really interesting here because in this area, we see a series of very small cabs. And those were purchased out of a collection from Forrest Fenn, who was a Indian arts trader here in Santa Fe. And he had purchased those from Rex Arrowsmith. Rex Arrowsmith is a well-known Indian arts trader here in Santa Fe. And these may very well have come from an earlier period, perhaps as early as the 1950s. So we may speculate here and say, well, were they selling the smaller cabs at that time? Because in that earlier period, we know that the turquoise was very popular with the Zuni because C.G. Wallace bought a lot of the turquoise from the blue gem mine. These are very interesting, these two cabs. And they were purchased directly from Jim Elquist, and so we're very certain of their provenance. But perhaps you can see in the video here, they contain some pyrite. And of course, you'll hear these stories, oh, there's no pyrite in blue gem turquoise, but as we can see here, in some rare instances, there is. As we move across, we start seeing these sort of solid blues here, all through here. Very beautiful, and of course, many people would attribute that as sort of the blue gem look that we've seen in Indian jewelry. Down here at the bottom, we have two sort of outliers on this tray where we see some of the differences where the greens come into play. And there's an explanation for that Jim Elquist gives in the book, in his story of turquoise. So now we're going to do a little rearranging here. I'm going to move this tray out and bring in another tray here. And this turquoise all came from Jim Elquist. And as you can see here, this is turquoise that Jim cut, and he really liked to cut the big cabs. So this is probably coming out of his stash that he had. He was cutting this turquoise well after the period when they had quit mining there in about 1973. But we see here the wonderful different looks we have between the blues and the greens at Blue Gem Lease Turquoise Mine.